got my articles, right?
Yeah, I did. I have them. Grandma stopped by today with Jordan. Had some fun.
Oh yeah, that's
We
good.
talked for a little
How'd
bit.
you do?
Good. Yeah, we kind of let her walk around a little bit because there's a lot more to like hold on to in my place. It's not like the
Yeah.
wide open space that. She's fine. I mean,
Yeah.
I asked
Good.
Grandma, could she do this yet? And she was like, yeah, I could do that. So I was like,
Oh
Grandma.
jeez. Oh
But,
yeah. I don't know if I want her doing that till the orthopedist says she can.
yeah, she said there was no pain or anything, so I'm sure the orthopedist will say she's fine now. But yeah, her and Jordan came over. She was reminiscing on old dates. I was like, oh God, Graham.
Oh jeez.
Yeah.
Apparently she put the stove on the other day, thinking it was electric, and
Yeah.
gassed up the house.
Yeah.
Oh my
Uncle
God.
Jerry told me that.
I texted Susan, said that's why they called it Carol Boom Boom Kisselbach.
The boom Grisselbog. She was telling us about like her old skiing days. I was like, I didn't know you skied.
Oh please. I think she went on one field trip at Fordham. That was it. She's a city girl. How often do you think she skied?
Good point. Yeah.
Yeah.
But no, things were
But yeah,
fine.
she
She
did
just
ski
came over.
once.
She liked that. It's cold here today, like super
Yeah.
cold, like
Oh, yeah.
40s maybe. So I was like, Grandma, get in here quick.
We had like 30 was our high. And I think it's getting colder for all of us, you guys too, in the next few days.
It's supposed to be 20 for us next week, in the
Wow.
20s. That's disgusting.
Oof.
I came down south to get away from that.
I know. Well, you're back in it, buddy.
Yeah.
We're getting snow a little bit. First, somebody said 10 inches on Monday. Now it's down to a dusting or 2 inches. And then I think a little something again on Friday. So,
Yeah, but I played golf yesterday in the freezing cold. I played really well, but I got through it.
did you wear your new golf shirt?
It didn't matter because I was so bundled up, no one could see it anyway. I wore basically this. I wore this sweatshirt and then sweatpants, and I wore my those compression socks you got me, those weightlifting ones. That was the
Yeah.
only thing that kept me warm during that. My mistake
You're
was
not meant
bringing.
for golf.
I know, but I needed whatever it took to bundle me up, and I didn't want to wear fuzzy socks. So,
Oh my God.
but no, I played my butt off yesterday. Uncle Jerry was very impressed.
Wait a minute. I have to get some coffee here.
Yes, mine hasn't come yet. The new cake shop mugs that we need to keep those for when viewers
yes.
want them.
I just sent
Can we get
it,
Can we get a
today.
full 180? I want to see it.
You have to because it's a.
Full 360, I should say. The Cake Shop podcast. Wow, that actually looks sick. And the inside's blue. Oh, I really like that.
Yes, the inside is blue. Blue head. It's a little small though. I'd get it bigger next time to hold more.
Oh, it's not a big size? That sucks.
Well, I thought it's not the smallest. I got the next size up, but for me, I guess we need the jumbo size. So I would get it. The glasses are a nice size too. If they came bigger, you would probably prefer that.
Yeah,
but-
because I use, like, the only cup I have that actually fits everything is that Papa Bear mug. That one fits
Yeah.
the full amount of coffee that I make. So that's the size I need, but it's not that big of a deal to.
Yeah, this is like a half that size. But the glass,
Really?
the water glass is not as big as the Coke glasses, but it's fine. And it has the full wraparound. You'll
Is
see
Dad
it.
constantly using it? Tell me Dad's constantly using it.
No, of course not. I put it way up high. I don't want him touching it.
Oh. You know,
It's not big enough for him. He's got to have that huge glass.
You know what's better though than or what hurts even more when we did the podcast with Kenny and Mike last week.
Yeah.
I edited it, and as I'm editing it, Kenny didn't get the name of the podcast right once. I was like, Kenny,
Thanks,
yeah, I was like, good job, brother.
I felt so bad. They went and got their packages, and Kenny goes, "Mom, what is this? It's a microwave. They sent the wrong thing. What are the odds Amazon's going to screw that up? They sent him a microwave instead of one of those water filters like you have."
Yeah.
I haven't had that happen. And
Wow.
it's got to be a gigundous thing sent to somebody else. But not a big deal. UPS will pick it up.
Oh,
him.
cool.
Yeah, I just said, I don't know if they come to your apartment or if you have to take it down to the mailroom, but at least you don't have to take it somewhere. That's a real pain in the ass when you live in a city. So, but I'm like, God, of all things, it couldn't be like socks that got messed up.
Yeah, it had to be. Yeah.
Biggest freaking
You
thing
got
I
him the
sent
same
him.
thing that I have.
It's not the same. I probably would have done this for you too. It's a Brio. Is yours a Brio? Okay. It does the two filters on the inside, not on top, and it's a 3-gallon jug. But you keep refilling that jug with water, and it filters that water, so you don't have to keep getting
Gotcha.
the jugs all the time. Because in an apartment, there's no way he was going to do that.
Well, mine's
But
like
when I
that,
looked
but
at-
mine's just like I don't have to.
Yeah, but yours comes from the top, and yours
Yeah.
is a different. Yours is a 0 water. So this is all Brio, and it's the Brio filters that I have a feeling they might be expensive. That's probably why I didn't do it for you either, because there's two filters that go in there, the charcoal and something
Yeah.
else. Depending on how often they use the water, those are probably going to be like $45 to switch out.
Yeah, like I use mine a lot, but like I think the different. So the zero water comes with a little device that measures the crap in the water, basically.
Yeah, yeah,
And I have yet to change those filters for months,
yeah,
which they're way overdue. They're probably double the date of when
yeah.
they probably should have fixed it. But the water is still better than my tap water, so that's why I'm like,
See, I find your water tastes like a little bleachy, like a little too chlorine.
oh, stop, Ma. That's all in your
That's
head.
me. That's me.
No, that's
I don't
fine.
know. Maybe they all. I don't know. They'd have to see when they get theirs. I was hoping they get it by the time I go down. I have no definite plans, but at some point I want to get down there. I'd like
Yeah.
to try it and see if there's a difference.
I'd probably order some more of those, but those filters themselves are like $50 each. Like for two, I should say. $50 for two.
Yeah, I was gonna say they're cheaper than what I saw in this thing, but
Yeah. The
I have to
Brito
look at.
or Brita, whatever. The Brita's like they're kind of like the Apple of water filters. Like I've noticed that the off-brand filters, which are the exact same thing, are way cheaper. Like I
Yeah.
found
Oh, yeah.
replacement ones for $5 that are literally the same.
Oh, absolutely. I always get
Yeah.
the cheap, the no name, generic brand they call it. They have 'em at all the stores, but
Yeah.
anyhow, it was we'll see how it does. I'm trying to compare. If they like it, fine. If not, you return it. I don't care. Keep the box.
How's 2025 treating us so far?
It's been busy since you guys left.
Really? I would have thought it would
Well,
be easier.
let's see. We got back. When did we get back from dropping you off?
Sunday, right? You guys
Sunday.
stayed Saturday and then Sunday. Yeah, yeah,
We
yeah.
drove back Sunday. Oh, your brothers were here, right? So Monday, Tuesday, picking them up, dropping them off. Let's see. Monday they were there all day. No, Monday they went somewhere. Tuesday they went. That was New Year's Eve, right? They went to
They
the
went to
niece house.
New Year's. Yeah, Nee's house.
Then
Yes.
they flew out on Wednesday. Then Dad left Thursday, and I literally spent Thursday and Friday nonstop putting decorations away. It was warm here on Wednesday, so Dad and I we went outside and we didn't have much outside, so I brought in all the outside stuff since the weather was good.
Mom's
And
the
that was
lady
it.
that has all the floats. She's got all the blow ups.
No, I do not, but we got plenty of stuff. Trust me.
The giant
yeah,
Santa blow up.
Yeah. So Dad left obviously to go upstate, and then Thursday. So that's what I did. I just packed nonstop, put everything away. All that was left today when Dad came back was the empty tree because I couldn't do that by myself because we could barely get that through. We could barely get it through the opening in the living room, and then we looked at each other like, "How are we getting that thing through the door?"
Oh
We ended
no.
up like chipping all the painting that I did, all scratched up. I gotta touch
Oh
it up
really?
now. Yeah.
Oh.
But it was huge, and it looked so. Dad had to go so slowly to take it because it was like literally an enormous tree on the top of the car. You
Oh.
couldn't like strap it down too much because it was just too big. It wasn't worth it. He was going down the street. So yeah, that was today. And then, as you know, it's like hours and hours of getting pine needles out of the carpets, out of the furniture, and just when you
Yeah.
think it's all clean, you find more of them. So I found all kitty stuff underneath the tree,
Oh, Missy
little
Buns.
toys and stuff. Yeah, crumpled up papers, and no wonder she loved it down there. It was like her own little cave.
Yeah. Was it easy? Was it easy saying goodbye to her?
No, she was very good. I understand. I didn't go for the ride. Dad thought we were all going. I'm like, no, we don't all fit with the dog and the rab.
Right.
So Kenny said she was good in the car. I didn't really talk to your brothers to find out. One of them had first class. Kenny got upgraded.
Oh really?
So he said he was going to give it to Mike, and he'd sit in the back with the cat. Yeah, right. Like I believe that.
Yeah. Well, I know Kenny sent us a video of I don't know if I listened to it, but I think it was the cat on the plane going wah wah.
Did she?
I think so on the plane.
I know she
So,
does it in the car.
yeah.
Aw.
She yeah, I don't think she likes the movement. I think it hurts her ears. I think it's tough for animals when they're
Well,
smelling.
flying, I'm sure, but it's a pain. Their flight was 48 minutes delayed.
Wow.
48-minute extended trip time, but they were only delayed 12 minutes. Figure that one out. So the flight, I guess the winds, whatever, or they had to slow down, maybe traffic, I don't know. But it was an extra 48 minutes. So they did not get in till about 2 in the morning.
Yeah, that's what
1:30
Dad told me. Yeah.
Then they had to get, and I told him to text me. So I was sitting up all night watching the clock. Now it's 2 a.m. And I text him like, "Are you in the apartment?" "No, we're waiting for Kenny's bag."
Oh,
Thank God, you're still at the airport. 2 in the morning. They did make it in like 2:30. Once they had their stuff, it's not that far.
I
It's not that
texted
long a
Kenny the
ride.
next day because I thought I didn't realize that they were flying home. Kenny must have woke up so late, rightfully so. If he went to bed at 3, if he got home at 3,
Yeah.
but I was like, oh wow, I didn't realize that
Well,
was
they
what.
booked a 9 o'clock at night flight, and there's always going to be some delay. I just couldn't figure out why 48 minutes. They're supposed to board at
Yeah.
9. They boarded at 9:12. It's not like there was a connection or anything. So, whatever.
Hmm.
They made it. So, but as I said, 2025, today was probably the first day Dad and I were like, okay, Dad put all the bins up. I helped him with the bins. You know how much that sucks. And
No.
he's doing some stuff outside with the cars, and then took the tree away. And then, yeah, went to mass, came back, and it's been kind of quiet now.
That's what it sounded
Now I'm
like.
doing the podcast.
Let me tell you, that rice cooker that Santa got me, godsend. It is amazing how it, Mom, it literally cooks rice perfectly.
Good.
I did not realize, when you put rice in a big pan like that. First off, my new thing, you definitely have to wash the rice a couple times. Like I'm like the Chinese
Oh,
now.
okay.
Like in the I went to Harris Teeter to get a little not a siphoner, but what do you call it? Like a separator almost, because I didn't like a
Strainer.
strainer. Thank you, jeez. But like the really tight knit ones, so that
Yeah.
no rice passes through. And I just wash my rice. That's my new thing. So I put the rice in, but the other day I put in 2 cups of rice, thinking I could eat 2 cups of rice, because when you see it in there with no water,
Oh, no, it expands.
yeah, you're like, whoa, it was so much rice. So it was like, this is great, but also I couldn't eat that much rice. I felt very sick after that.
Between China and India, it's got to feed 4 billion people, so it's got to expand.
Yeah, that's a good point. We've had some food trucks this week. I had,
Yeah, I saw that. Gigi's.
yeah, Gigi's barbecue, whatever. Good burger. Good burger. They had a nice bacon jam burger. Dad would have loved it. Good fries
They
too.
cook it right then and there, or is it pre-made?
No, they cook it right then and there. Guy's from New York. He's actually from Lake George. The place is from Lake George, so that's why I sent it to you.
Oh, Gigi's? I've never heard of Gigi's.
So they've had this truck, and then I guess they came from Connecticut, moved down to Lake George, and then now they're down in New Bern because they like working at the military bases.
Well, Connecticut's lower than Lake George.
Potato, Mom. You know what I mean?
I'm just trying to figure out what the hell you're talking about.
Yeah.
So they're originally from Lake George, though, and then they were in Connecticut, or
No,
vice
other
versa?
way. Sorry, they started in Connecticut and then moved over to Lake George, and they were there for a while, and then moved
All
down.
right, maybe.
So
Lower
it's just a
okay.
food truck. And then yesterday, the neighbor and I, we got they had a Thai food place, like Thai food. Gave that a shot. It's not much different than Chinese food. I'm gonna say it. It's not.
Yeah.
The only difference is like peanut shrimp. But let me tell you, Mom, I know you like a good spring roll. These were by far the best spring rolls I've ever had. Nice
that's good
crunch
to
to them.
Everyone always is it India? Is it Thai? Thai people love the bread. Thai food bread.
These guys didn't have that, but
Okay.
I know there's curry, but from what I've been told about curry is it's like a 50-50. If you don't love curry, you probably shouldn't even touch it because it's either too spicy, has too little of a flavor. Mom, they had this dry rub that looked like paprika. I was like, the guy goes, "Yeah, it's pretty hot." I said, "Okay, it can't be that hot." I'm good with spicy foods, but I've never had something so dry before. And I was just like, "It's in my lungs." And Brooke was like, "You good?" It's like, "Oh yeah, I'm good."
Where's the nurse?
Yeah,
I need a nurse.
yeah, that's what it felt like. I was like, "Uh-oh." So, but like I
Water
felt it like it's weird when you have something that's a liquid, like a hot liquid, it goes down your throat. You're like, "Oh, that burns my tongue and my mouth." But this was like burning my esophagus. You know, I was like, "Oh, this sucks." So not doing that
Don't
again.
do that anymore.
And it has like no sweet flavor to it. You know what I mean? Like at least with a hot sauce, you have that kind of somewhat sweet. You
flavoring.
have something with it. And I think it's because it's a liquid. This was just like a punch to the back of the throat. I was like, "Oh." So it was good food though. I had it tasted more like a Kiku or hibachi place rather than Thai food.
Yeah.
Like if you were to blindfold me and give me fried rice from a Chinese food place, a Japanese place, and a Thai food place, I don't think I could tell the difference.
Okay.
So
Yeah, I don't know enough about Asian food to know the differentiation.
Oh, are
I
you
just
saying
know
you're
good Chinese.
uncultured?
Definitely, that part of the world is just I'm ignorant, completely ignorant of the food differences.
Yeah.
I know a good Chinese food when I see it, but Thai food. I mean, our neighbors, as or your listeners may know, that is from Thailand, but he won't even eat our food. Like he's not into American food. He eats just
He
Thai
won't
food
even have a
just the way he
burger?
eats it.
I didn't even know
I
I didn't know
think
Co was
so.
like that.
I don't know. He never really wants. Dad always says, he just likes his own food. He cooks his own food. Bo loves going over there because all the smells, the curry, the this, the that.
Oh, does he? I
So
didn't know Bo goes
yeah,
over
Bo
there.
loves it.
Uh,
Loves those smells.
Diet's been going good. I've been doing my walking. So I did my 3 this week.
Good.
One day, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. That, and then I've been taking protein shakes. I got my protein powder and stuff. Delicious.
Good.
Let me tell you, if you're not on, I'm going to start pushing the protein shakes. It's a good meal supplement.
Good.
So, yeah, I'm down almost 6 pounds since Sunday.
Yeah, I don't see it so much in your face, but I feel
Really?
like
I feel like I lose it here the most. Maybe
a
it's the
little bit.
lighting.
Yeah, I mean, the lighting's not good because you're very glary right now.
Yeah. But I can't change it. I mean, I need these lights. So,
It's about him though. Is there any way you could dim him a little bit? Like it almost drains you of color.
unfortunately, well, I mean, technically for the podcast, I don't need them, but it's almost, if I turn them off, it's too dark. If I keep it on, if I don't keep them on, there's no middle point, you know?
Oh, no.
So that's what kind of sucks.
Then that's not good.
Yeah. But, what was I saying? So yeah, diet's been good, staying healthy. And then I made the wise decision at Aunt Susan's. I was like, Aunt Sue, I don't want dessert on Wednesday. And that helped, which was,
Did she fall over?
yeah, she did. She was like,
Passed out?
she was kind of upset that I didn't have dessert. And I was like, I'm sorry, Aunt Sue. But I said Sundays. Sundays is when we can all enjoy ourselves. But yeah, so diet's good, staying healthy, meeting more people at the gym. So that's fun. That's pretty much it. It's been a pretty eventful week.
Well, that's good. You're getting back into your routine and you're getting out. That's important. Doing some other stuff.
Yeah, I do a lot more editing. What else did I do? Well, as I said, golf. Golf was the other one. I played my ass off yesterday. Even Uncle was impressed. I learned how to hit a 3-wood accidentally. So I hit a 3-wood, which is like kind of hard to use, not off a tee. And I had 2 bombs off this tee, off the flat ground. And I was like, whoa. I didn't even know I could do this.
I'm not a golfer, so I can't appreciate that stuff.
Yeah. Well, I don't care either, but my uncle was like, well, I won't nerd out. If Kenny was here, he'd understand. But
I'm sure he would. I'm not, like I said, I don't understand because I'm not a golfer. I can't even pull up these articles. Can you believe this? This is like such
well,
a
I
pain
have
in the
them, but
neck.
it's okay.
Well, I know, but if I want to look at them now, I can't even. I'm into bookmarks and I'm trying to pull it up. Just maybe it'll work now. Maybe it's okay. Maybe that's why. Yeah. So I can't understand the clubs and stuff. I mean, I know what a driver is. I know putting, but I've never played a round of golf to tell you that.
Well, Uncle told me that he switched out my driver for his because he wanted my driver, and I was like, okay. So I took. But let me just say they're both his clubs, so it's not like he took them from me. Just to clarify, but the one in my bag, and he gave me his old one, which is like a massive head to it. So it was really nice to hit because it's like you can't miss. I don't have to think about it as much, and it just soars.
Nice and straight. Did you hit?
No,
slicing?
what's
Nice
nuts? Yesterday was the best I've ever driven in the sense of everything went straight down the middle. I didn't have a single one that went shanked or pulled, whatever. So now I gotta work on the irons. My chipping's not great. Well, let me put it this way: my driving's the only good thing. Anything that keeps,
like to whack the heck out of the ball.
Once I get to the short game, which is chipping and putting, that's where I struggle a little bit. Like the only reason I didn't want to say it to them yesterday, but I actually beat them both in golf. I quickly got rid of the scorecards, but the problem is the reason I can keep up is because what takes them 3, sometimes 4 to get to the green, I can do in 2 because just strength. So, and now that the form for driving's good, like that helps immensely. And now that I can use a 3-wood, oof.
Well, you're also 30 years younger than
I know.
I'm like
throwing your, yeah, Tom's in the 70s, but Tom gave me this bag of wooden tees. Oh yeah, that's what happened. He gave me this bag of wooden tees. And my first ball, because they gave me like a full mulligan.
Yeah.
For the first one. The first one I did not hit well, but it was like it just didn't. I had to get used to a new driver and everything. And I was like, who the hell gave me these shit tees? And Tom started laughing because he didn't give them to me directly. I was like, Uncle, I forget what I said. I was like, Uncle, who the hell gave you these shit tees?
I should have given you. I got Kenny a double box just because I saw in there, and that was my first thought. They were wrapped together of special tees that I don't know if golfers even use them, but I figured he would.
Yeah.
You know, he golfs more than you, but I guess not.
I
I think
hate
you
this.
do.
Yeah,
She's
I'm
given to
talking
you.
like I play golf a lot or whatever, but I still couldn't care less about golf. I'm still not at
You
that
still
level. It's
play
fun to
it
do.
regular every day, or every week rather. I mean, you've been consistent
Yeah,
once a week.
more so like every other week, I would say. So, but it's easy when you have one less than half a mile away. If it was 5 miles away, I'd be like, I don't want to go.
Well, and you have the weather for it. You
That's
know,
true.
you can
Well,
do it
let me tell you,
deep into the season.
I was freezing my ass off yesterday. It felt
Right.
like a long time to be outside.
But that's unusual for down there. You know, last couple years
Yeah.
actually. Well, it's grandma basically. She's the the jinx.
Yeah.
She's down there. She brings the cold weather. But yeah, it's been unusually cold down in the Carolinas. Even last year, Susan said they never had this before. So, but you know, I saw people golfing here last week. It was still pretty mild out. You know, they had the full coats on and everything. They were over fiddlers. They were out, I saw them off the highway golfing. So people do, as long as the weather's good, a real golfer keep going. As long as it's not snowing or raining. But you
Yeah.
guys, you have it even longer down there. So
Yeah, we've never
be
played in
prepared.
rain, but actually we played in rain once, but I prefer the cold over the heat, but that was a little too cold. Thank God I was
Yeah.
bundled because I was almost like, do I have to not wear a sweatshirt because there's certain dress codes at these places, which is bullshit, by the way. But the dress code, you have to wear a collar tee. I was like, I'm wearing sweatpants and a sweatshirt. I'd like to see someone try and stop me.
Yeah. Well, in that weather, I think they'd be a little
Yeah.
flexible because you're not walking around in a tank top.
Yeah, well, I was more so scared about the sweatpants. I was just wearing my black ones. I was like, are they gonna make me wear like jeans or some shit?
We're
So
just thankful you're not in pajama pants.
I would have, if they were warm, I would have anything to keep myself warm during that.
I think they have the code just for you. We don't want that kid coming.
Yeah. Get that guy out of here.
I see one more goddamn tank top.
Yeah. Well, apparently Uncle's gone in some tank tops just to walk in, and they give him some shit for it. He's like,
Yeah.
I'm here all the time.
Yeah,
He changed.
knows. He put the shirt on.
Yeah, he changes his shirt out. He's someone that's been playing for like 40 years. So, yeah, he knows. It's just he goes in there, pays, then puts his shirt on. But
Whenever they had the golf outing up at a place in, can't even think of the name of it, in New Jersey, they'd also have the tennis too. And you're required to wear tennis whites. Clubs usually require you wear all white. White skirt, white, guys have to wear white shorts. Tennis whites. Every year, somebody shows up in something with color. They got to go to the pro shop and they got to pay a ridiculous amount of money for tennis whites because, you're paying top dollar in the pro shop. And you would think people would kind of learn, but every year somebody forgets and they come in the pink shirt with the pink skirt or the pink shorts. But
I think
anyhow,
it's a stupid rule. I think it's stupid. If you can play every other sport recreational, we're not going PGA here, okay? Just let me freaking wear what I want. Like if it's hot as hell, let me get a little bit of a tan while I'm out there. God knows I need it.
Usually public courses will let you wear, or they're relaxed about the rules. Private courses, they want people to, it's one of those things where you have to have a standard, because once you lower that standard, people will show up with no shirt, right? It's kind of silly.
You know what's kind of wild? Apparently, like, someone fact check me on this one, but apparently, like, one of the golf courses, like PGA golf courses, just start allowing black people or something like that.
No,
I'm not even kidding.
No.
Right? I'm gonna say
Maybe
within the
some
last.
foreign
I'm gonna say
country,
the
but
last 10 years.
No,
Which
not true. Not true.
PGA golf course
I really doubt that.
was the. Oh, it might have been women. First to allow women on the course.
Oh,
What PGA golf course was? Which PGA was the last to allow? Let me see real fast. We're gonna go.
remember, in some parts of the world, they won't allow women on the course.
Yeah.
They won't allow women to do anything.
Oh yeah. Ready? So, the Shoal Creek County Club in Birmingham, Alabama, was the last PGA golf course to allow black people when it admitted its first black member in 1990. That's not that long ago.
Well, that's not that long ago. That's true, but still, it's not recently.
Damn, that's pretty crazy.
Yeah,
That's to allow. So then, how about women? Let me just see. Allow women. Like 1990s. What? That's actually wild to think
well,
about.
that's what it said. It said that that's when the first
Black member
black person
joined.
joined. They might have allowed it, but they had no one had an interest in it.
Yeah, and then in 2014, the Royals, an ancient golf course in St Andrews, Scotland, is the first one, or was the last one to allow women.
2014.
Yeah, 2014. Damn it!
Okay.
They're getting too many rights.
Yeah. Oh, please.
They're getting too many rights.
Please.
But yeah, so the week's been pretty good. It's been a solid start to 2025. I told Dad yesterday. I actually just recorded it today. After 29 years almost, I finally beat Hercules. So I did the speed run for it. I did the speed run for it today, and I'll send it to Dad when it's edited a little bit. Well, you used to take Dad.
Words out.
What Dad and I used to usually in the speed runs, there's no swearing unless I really screw up. But it's funny I was doing some speed run prep for it. It's funny, like I think about how hard it was growing up. Like it would take Dad days and tries. So I beat the game in like less than 35 minutes. And there's a bunch of little tricks you can do. Like I don't know if you remember it, but do you remember the centaur fight?
I remember like going through the coins. You have to pass through the coins to collect the coins.
I'll send you the video too when I edit it. That should come out on Friday. But it was cool because a lot of the tricks that you learn in video games now even applied to back then. So there's a point. It's tough to explain, but I hope Dad watches it because he's going to be like, "Oh, we could have done that this whole time." There's something in video games called iframes. And what iframes stand for, they kind of became popular in Dark Souls games. Basically, if you're mid-animation, the frame rate, so say something runs at, I'm trying to explain this. So every time something moves on the screen, it's a frame, right?
Yeah.
So in between those moments, you have something called an invincibility frame because there's nothing there in between the two frames. So there's a point in the centaur fight where the guy literally flips because it's a 2D platform. The guy flips and you can't get hit, so you just jump on his back. So it takes like 2 seconds.
Oh.
The other one was.
Oh gosh, there's no way you would have known that when you were little.
I know.
Way.
There's no way I would have. That's why I'm saying it's funny now going back and seeing it played and like going through it and looking at the cheats and stuff, like how people do it. That one and the other one was the Hydra fight. Do you remember the Hydra, the giant purple
heads?
Yeah,
with every time you tap the head, another one would come or two would come. Yeah.
So I'll have to show Dad this one, but there's a way you can time it so that every time one comes down, you can hit it at the right time. So like you can finish it in less than a minute. Like so, I finished it so fast, and then fighting. Dad
hours I had to listen to that goddamn song.
I know. Oh, but the second level, I said in the recording, the second level has the best music in it. That was the one where you would run. Remember, you would sprint, and you have to dodge all the stuff. I think Dad'll like it because he's gonna go, "Oh wow, is that easy?" So I don't think Dad claimed when I talked to him yesterday. He claimed he beat that game, but I don't remember that at all. I don't think Dad ever beat it.
I don't remember. I remember you guys playing it, but Dad lost interest pretty fast because once you started taking over, he was like, "What am I doing this for?"
Well, what's nice is you can play with a controller now on Steam.
Yeah.
So playing with a keyboard sucked because like my fingers are too big.
Controllers, Chris, they didn't exist
I know.
at the time.
Thank God for Steam Input. It allowed me to use a controller, which helped immensely.
That was like the original PC game.
That's what I said.
With a disc onto your computer.
Yeah. So I did that. That was my big thing today. I did some editing, but yeah, it was nice because I was like, oh wow, I actually beat this after 29 years. Because I don't think Dad ever beat it. I think he's BSing. Because fighting Hades in the end is the easiest part. Yeah, I don't
think he got through like the first level and he considers that beating it, you know?
Yeah. No, I don't think
level
so.
1, I'm done. I'm good.
Well, back then too, because that was considered an arcade game. There's no like saves. If you die, you have to start all over, even if you're on level 7.
Well, that's what I was saying. I got that damn song was in my head. I'm like, oh my God, shut the volume off, Chris. Shut the volume
Well,
off.
now you get to listen to it again when, because back then they didn't have the music didn't fade into each other, so it would literally like mid level, it would stop and then restart.
Yeah, on and on and on. And then wasn't it Danny DeVito's voice? Doesn't he play like the little
Yeah, he
guy in
plays
it?
the I forget his name. You got this, kid. That's what he says all the time.
I hear that name, hear that voice over and over in the song. I'm like, oh my God, shut the volume off, Chris. I can't take it.
No, that music was sick. So yeah, I was glad to beat it. I was like, well, I had to call Dad when I did it. I was like, after 29 years, I finally did it. It didn't take me that many attempts, but
oh gosh, what a goal, huh? What a goal!
It was
I think it's so
nostalgic.
funny that they brought it back. Yeah, it's funny that it's still around, right? Now it's just, what is it, a Steam game?
Yeah, they kept it on Steam. So because I couldn't burn it to a disc to play it on computer, so I just bought it. I still have the discs, but I was thinking of doing Space Invaders, but Space Invaders that's not really a game you speed run.
Right.
So yeah, but I finished that one, and then yeah, now it's just editing. I've been doing a lot. So little announcement, I guess, is Jason and I today. Some people know already, but Jason and I redid our Discord server, so now it's like an actual like nice official server. It's really cool. What Discord allows you to do. We added a bunch of bots. People can put their birthdays in, so every year when they stay in, it says their birthday. It's pretty cool. Oh, so we've added a lot, and we streamlined a lot of the stuff. So now whenever a YouTube video gets posted, it goes right to the YouTube channel. It goes right to I'm sorry, not the YouTube channel. It goes right to the Discord, so that everyone knows that a video came out.
Oh, that's neat.
Yeah. Speaking of which,
well, you know that Meta envisions social media filled with AI-generated users. That was one of my articles. They think the future is going to be AI-generated. You could be playing things and doing things online with AI-generated avatars.
Really?
Yeah. Isn't that weird?
Wait. You sent that one to me?
Yeah, it was one of my articles.
Oh, unless you sent me more articles. Yeah, literally the one that you must have sent after I finished curating. Here, I'll grab it in a second. But
I guess it was the last one.
Yeah.
They want to do AI. The AI characters will now be part of social media.
Hold on, give me a second. It's been a while since I had to do this.
Right, no
wait. So move this. Boom.
Well, I tried to do a segue, but I guess it didn't go too well. There you go.
Wait, you want to try that segue again so I can? I'll edit it in.
Edit it out, but so that's what I was saying. The AI characters will be part of social media, and I wrote, "Yay!"
Wait,
it's supposed to make them more entertaining and more social by adding these AI, I don't know, generated characters. Snapchat rolled something out like this for its creators, 50% increase in users, so they do like it. ByteDance, which is TikTok, they're putting out something called Symphony. They're going to use it for creating videos, text prompts, avatars, etc. So I think that's going to be used. They're hoping they'll use it more like for company advertising.
Yeah, it's just another AI tool. So Snapchat has one. Oh God, you're not kidding. I do look extra washed out today, but I guess this is like a white background. I know Snapchat has something called like My AI. It's absolute garbage. It's terrible. I don't know anyone that really uses it, and you can't delete it, which is really annoying.
Well, it's the same thing. They saw a 50% increase in users.
Yeah, I don't know how that. I'd like to see the data on that one because it doesn't do anything. It just tells you, like.
It's for the creators. I don't know. I don't know if they just talked about it. ByteDance is doing something called Symphony, but that looks like it's more for marketing type of things.
I've looked into Symphony. It's not. You know, Mom, I'm going to say it. These AIs, it's not that they're bad. It's just like, how bad do we need them? You know? You don't, not everything has to be AI. Who was it that we were with? I think you were there. Who was it that we were with where we were talking? Oh, yeah, when we were pumping gas at Harris Teeter, and the guy was like, I remember the old days where these didn't have computers and were so complicated. Like, I'm kind of like that with AI right now. I don't need everything to have an AI in it. I just don't.
Well, I think they're trying to make it trendy. That's why they're saying it's social. Because everyone's going to be like, oh, I want an AI character. Something new, something trendy. And then once I think they're hoping it'll become mainstream. Everybody get used to there always being an AI character
Yeah,
involved and just become commonplace. Um, but they are concerned to avoid any misinformation going out. Meta says that the AI content should be labeled on the platform. So you got to let
agreed.
people know there's an I don't know, character or something involved. That seems kind of weird. Yeah.
This is a little bit of a side note while we're in tech and stuff, but did you see that the U.S. just announced that any subscription-based company has to have a one-click end subscription button now, which I kind of like.
Oh,
Yeah,
interesting.
about time. Have you ever tried to cancel a subscription? It's usually a pain in the ass.
Well, you know, it's interesting. I was just saying this to Dad today. These commercials for these companies that'll say, "How many subscriptions do you have?" And they show mostly young people who think they only have two,
Yep.
that they're spending $300 a month. And Dad was shocked at that, but to some extent, I was too. But I said, I get it because young people don't even look at the credit cards.
Which is
Everybody
insane.
pay. Well, maybe you're unusual, but I know peers your age. They just pay whatever the balance is. They don't even think about it, which it's a hacker's dream, a fraudster's dream nowadays
I
for young
guess it's
people.
kind of so I'm looking at one right now that I paid today. Like this breaks down. Like I love the paper. I know some people are anti-paper. I'm not going to show my credit card stuff, but like it tells me all the stuff that I paid and like what went through and what not. So I like without that, I would love to know where my money goes. I guess some people who have reoccurring payments, they don't care because they know it's reoccurring. But still, I would say I would still
Well,
look
but
into
if
it.
you don't know that you're paying $300 in subscriptions,
Yeah.
I mean,
Well,
that's how
first
much
off,
money do you have?
first off, if you're paying 300, I want to know what subscriptions you have that you're paying $300. Like just
The
a
reality
hundred
is they
dollars.
don't even know it. That's the
Right.
point of the commercial, so that you'll download this app that'll clean up all your subscriptions, right?
Yeah.
But you and I both know these companies don't want you having that information because people will stupidly keep paying it, right?
Yeah,
They
I
don't
guess
want
that's
these
true.
apps, which it's bizarre to me, but I was just trying to explain to your dad because he doesn't interact with the young people to see what, but I know from dealing with you guys, everything is, think about it, Apple Pay on the wallet. Nobody's looking at the
I don't
details.
feel
They just
comfortable
keep
with
downloading.
Apple Pay. I know a lot of people use Apple Pay. A lot of people live by it. I do not like the idea of like there's a couple things in life that I feel like should not be digital. I feel like your credit card shouldn't be in the sense of I like having a physical card on me. I know there's the argument like it's imaginary money and whatever. Fair. But I don't like the idea that I can just take my phone and kind of scan it across something and that
Yeah.
just pays for it. Because like what happens if someone walks by and they have some kind of scanner that'll just swipe it from you? Which I guess you could say about
I
a
mean,
credit card too,
yeah, people
but
take your credit card numbers. I'm surprised there isn't, knock wood, more fraud with credit cards. Because nowadays you could just enter any number over a phone. You don't even have to have the physical card.
yeah, that's true
So
too.
anybody could be me as long as they know the details on the back. And really, how hard is that for some of these fraudsters to get that info if they really want to? To me, and that's a separate issue. What I'm saying is none of this is being caught anymore because people don't deep dive, or younger generations, they don't want to see their day-to-day activity. They just want to pay it and go, pay and go.
Well, let me tell
Everything's
you,
in the moment.
I have such a, I think I was talking to Alan about this. I have beef with Amazon, right? I was going through my credit card statement and I had all these random charges and I was like, what the hell is this? For some reason, Amazon decides that even though it blocks it out online as you paid this much, it blocks out the items individually. So
Yeah.
instead of giving me the 103 it was worth, it gave me like it gave me like a $40, $20, and a $30. And I was so confused. So
Right.
I was like, why don't Amazon just freaking give me one statement at the end of the month or whatever it is that goes
Yeah.
into my credit? Just, yeah. Because considering how much people buy off Amazon, it would be so confusing to do it that way. Like just
Well, and
separate
also,
everything.
it also adds to this worrying trend of the very large number. I can't remember what it was. They came out recently of people who are defaulting on their credit cards now.
Right.
Okay, so you got a tsunami going on. You got inflation. You got people with low wages. You got people paying things with their credit cards, and you got people who don't even check their credit cards. So they're just paying a balance every month that probably it's legit. But if you never take a look and you have subscriptions on there that maybe you legitimately signed up for, but you don't realize that you're still paying months and months or years later, like the commercial. Oh, that was my girlfriend's and we broke up 2 years ago or some stupid essay like that. How could you not know that? Well, because people don't reconcile it. They just pay the balance. They see it on their phone, and as long as it's within some parameter that they can afford, they just pay it.
The one that
Well,
still is crazy to me is people who only pay the minimums. Have you ever seen that? Like the people that
yeah.
they'll like, I forget who it was, and it was a long time ago, so thank God. I hope they fixed it. But they bought, I forget what it was. It was like a TV or something, and they only paid the minimum. So every month they were like, I don't have to pay it off because I'll just keep paying the minimum. I was like, I don't like even back then. I was like, when I know nothing about credit cards, this was back in college. I was like, that doesn't make sense.
Right.
So yeah, very very strange how some people.
Well, I mean, credit cards are an interest-free loan until you have to pay it at the end of the month, right? So if you buy a TV December 1st with a credit card, you technically did not pay a dime out of your pocket for an entire month until you get your bill, and then you pay for it. So it's a small, like, interest-free loan for a month. But if you don't pay it, now it's a really expensive loan because credit card rates are some of the highest. And now it's worse than if you got a loan at the bank to go buy that TV or whatever and paid for it that way. So that's the part that people don't understand. When if you pay the minimum, well, the balance just keeps accruing interest at a ridiculous rate.
Right.
And everybody knows that. So that's why I've always said to you guys, my sons, you included, that I don't care. You always pay it off. If you don't have the money, you let us know. We pay it because I refuse to.
Yeah,
It's like almost
the banks.
usury.
Yeah, like so. One of the big. I remember this statistic. College debt's a big issue. Like for our $1 trillion debt, the personal debt, credit card debt, is number 2, I believe. It's insane how much people rack up in credit card debt. Like mentally, it's such an unfathomable amount of money that people will just put on credit cards that they don't have. Like it's
Right
insane.
now, a lot of people are doing it because they literally can't afford
it, right.
things, right? So they have a credit card. They throw it on their credit card and they'll pay it when times are good again. Like they're, hoping for the next administration or next year or whatever.
I'm talking even more astronomical than that. Like in the sense of things that they'll put on a credit card that there's no way that they can pay off at any point. Like I was watching, I forget the guy's name. He's a famous YouTuber who does a lot of finance. David Ramsey. I don't know if you know him.
Oh yeah.
But he had it was a person where this husband and wife, they had sports cars, like $500,000 in sports cars, but they only made like $70,000 a year. So they have one of those Discover cards, or not Discover, what are they called? The black cards, the Amex cards, that doesn't have a limit. So they would just keep paying the minimums. And it's like, how'd the bank allow that? I mean, usually they put a stop to it at some point, but they put themselves in insane debt that they just couldn't get out of. And it's like, Dave Ramsey's like, okay, I hate to break this to you, but if you want to get out of this, I'm about to destroy your life because you got to get rid of these cards.
Because you and I and others who pay it off, we're quote unquote good customers, but then again, they're not making any money on you and me other than transaction that they get from the vendors. Where they make money is interest and stuff like that, and late fees and all that. That's the extra, right?
Well, that's why those Amex cards are so dangerous because those don't have a limit, and a lot of people forget what their limits are, I guess, because it doesn't stop.
Right, they're a little bit different. They're not like a finite amount. They let you roll over a certain amount at a certain rate, blah blah blah. So they're a little bit trickier. But usually you have to be, well, in the old days you had to be at a certain level to get an Amex card. They didn't that wasn't your basic credit card. Now I think they give it to anybody because they love the people that just rack it up. However, when people just walk away, who pays for that? You and me.
Right.
That's what make the rates go up. That's just the absurdity of it, and that's why they really do need to crack down. There was a time when you had to, quote-unquote, qualify for a credit card. Well, look at people out there now. They have 3, 4, and 5 credit cards, and they put balances on all of them because they don't have money.
Yeah. Yeah. Like the people that open up new credit cards just to get like the free, we'll give you the free $1,000 the first time, and then you pay 5% back afterwards. It's like, oh, yeah, you fell for that?
Right, but you have to understand something. If you're desperate, right?
Yeah, no, I get
you have to feed a family and you don't have a job or your job doesn't pay enough, I'll take a credit card. It's like worries
Yeah.
down the road. And now you have this
See,
new
you and
phenomena
I,
of I'll just default.
you
I'll
and
just
I are
walk away.
you and I are talking on about two different types of people. You're talking about families in dire straits. I'm talking about kids in college that I knew who just want more money and were opening up credit cards left and right.
Well, scary thing too, because when I look at the online betting stuff,
Oh
right?
yeah,
I didn't even understand some of the things with that, because I grill these people when I call them whenever I see charges that I don't know, and I want to understand how you calculated that finance. I got moved to a manager one time, and she's literally walked me through the mathematics of it. But with the online betting, they treat that as a cash advance. So boom, right off the
right. That's
bat,
how I got
you're
screwed.
right. You're charging a fee and a finance charge and everything else. Well, who knows this unless you have it happen and you Google it? And back to what I originally said. Think of all the young people who do this online betting. They don't know. They're not even looking at their statement. They just see a number that they pay every month and they move on to the next month. That's the kind of stuff where, and let's assume they can afford it, but they could be paying for charges on there they have no idea they're incurring. They're legal charges, but because they're not even looking at their statement to question it or understand some of these charges, it goes back to what we said before. And actually, it's a good segue for another article, but they're not teaching this. This is basic home economics. How to balance a checkbook. How does a credit card work? How does a mortgage? We've talked this many times. Young people don't learn this. They may not be learning it from their parents because I think not even your generation, the generation between you and me, they didn't learn it either. And they're now having kids who are not understanding what's supposed to, because their parents don't understand it.
Well, it's also,
and they're racking up debt.
I also wonder how many people still write checks nowadays. Like checks, no offense, but your generation's probably the last one writing checks.
Yeah, and very few of them. I mean, I just was cleaning out the drawers here for the holidays, the beginning of the new year.
Right.
I must have like 30 checkbooks. You pre-order them and they come in packs of 30. I barely use checks anymore. I do everything like you guys online.
Yeah.
Well, this is a waste. I'm going to outlive all these checks. And that's fine.
Right.
It's okay. Every now and then you do need a check. But I'll tell you what's interesting. The pendulum always swings back. It's more expensive to use a credit card.
Oh, yeah.
When you go to a hairdresser now, they want cash, or you got to pay a 5% charge, right?
Yeah.
Restaurants, when people go out, and maybe people are learning this now. When you go to a restaurant, if you pay with a credit card, check that bill. They probably tacked on an extra percentage. If you bring cash, you don't have to pay as much.
Yeah.
But people don't have to pay.
Cash is king.
They're used to that.
Well,
cash is king.
Well, yeah. I was going to say, if you have a bank account and you have a savings, then you could take out cash. But you're saying when you don't have the cash and you're using credit cards over your limits.
Right. But and that's where we go back to. Do you have to go out to dinner, multiple times in a month when you can't pay a credit card bill?
Right. Yeah, exactly. There's that. So this is kind of what I was talking about before. It's like this is something I don't think I mentally will understand the mentality of certain people. Say you have $70,000 in your bank account, and tell me if I'm crazy here. You're not looking at Lamborghinis. Yeah. You can't be paying for a Lamborghini. So that's what I mean. Like those credit cards that I was talking about, the people that were way over, that made no sense, are people that do that. I'm not talking about the people that are just struggling to make ends meet.
They're not necessarily buying a Lamborghini. What they do is they lease it for $4,000 a month and they put it on their credit card. And they can't afford that, right? Plus they put their mortgage or whatever else they put on there. There is this phenomena that I would say is coming from the younger generations, and mine's caught up in it too. There's no accountability anymore. If I can't pay the bill, I'll walk away. What are they going to do? There's really not much they could do to you. And that's wrong. That's really wrong. And shame on these credit card companies for allowing people. There should be, what happened to a credit limit? But people reach their credit limit, they don't pay it, and then the interest just accrues and accrues and accrues.
What's also weird is with a credit limit, you could still go over that credit. Like usually it's for emergencies. Like let's say I was pinned some credit cards. In fact, most I believe will still let you go over. Let's say you have $1,000 limit. If you keep using that card, they'll still use it, but the interest goes higher.
Right, and that's wrong. That's absolutely wrong. And that's how people are getting into this, because there's no accountability.
No.
There is no asset tied to that credit card other than, you're going to have to go into repossession of items. I mean, come on. Maybe they'll take it back to Lamborghini, but it's not the credit card company that takes it back. It's the original seller that would take it back. So the way it's set up, and now you add to it this mentality of people who, number one, who can't afford it or who don't care and will keep racking it up, and zero accountability.
Right.
That's why this credit card, they're going to have to rein this in because you and I are going to get sick of paying the extra fees and charges and everything if they have to start whacking it up and assessing it to you and me.
Right. I just put in a Listerine strip, and I guess I put it in a little too far back in my mouth, and now I can feel the mint going through my nose, and I'm like, ah.
It's like the curry all over again.
Give me 1 second. I just want to get a new thing of water.
Okay.
I like these glasses, but now that I have on my my sippy cups,
oh my God,
it's nice because now I don't have to keep getting up for water. Much better.
So along lines with the credit card, similar story. Only 36% of U.S. adults can pass the citizenship test.
Well, I was going to say, one of these days we got to do you're going to have to give us like a lesson in how to leverage debt. Like that's something I still don't understand. Like, those billionaires that have tons of debt and somehow are able to leverage debt against the banks. That's a conversation for some other time. But not Jack Ma. I forget the name of the guy, but he's a guy that, I forget what he's in. He's like in mining or gold mining, and he was talking about like leveraging debt off banks. I was like, okay, whatever.
Yeah, borrowing money isn't always a bad thing, right?
Yeah.
Traditionally, old school world, you never borrow money. That's bad.
Yeah,
not bad. You pay cash and blah blah blah. But smart and wealthier people have learned that sometimes you can work the numbers, and borrowing makes you money, right? You buy an asset that you eventually will own. You use blended money, borrowed money, and you can leave your money in the bank with more interest. So sometimes it makes sense. But my point to this, and what you were saying about the credit cards, and then talking about adult passing citizenship, it all comes back to the same thing, like we were just saying. Young people aren't being taught what they need to know, regardless of what they do in life.
Well, let's read the article real fast. So apparently only 36% of U.S. adults can pass the citizenship test, a wake-up call for civic literacy. This was interesting because it actually seemed, based on what they said, it seemed like people coming into the country knew more because they almost feel like they had to, which is fair. But
you do have to. You have to take a test. Right. There's 100 questions. They randomly pick 10, and you have to get 6 of them right to pass. If not, you will not become a citizen. So you have to know roughly the answers to these 100 questions, okay? Now think about this. 3% of high school students in 2023 passed it.
That's not good.
3%.
Now, I will say, from one of the questions that I saw, it is a little confusing, some of the questions. And what I mean by that is ranging from what is the supreme law of the land to who wrote the Declaration of Independence. Well, I mean, the founding fathers wrote the Declaration of Independence, right? But
no, they want specifically who?
Adams, Jefferson. Just who?
Jefferson wrote it. That's what they would accept as an answer. But you're right. Adams had input as well. Madison too. But basically, Thomas Jefferson wrote the Declaration. That's what we all understand. Jefferson wrote that.
So, but then my question is, one of the questions was, what is the supreme law of the land? I don't know the answer to that, but I'm sure.
Constitution.
Okay, so I know what the Constitution is. I didn't know it was called the supreme law of the land.
Right. That's our law. That's what we're based on. Right.
Gotcha. I've just never seen it referred to as that, the supreme law of the land. So. Yeah. Okay. Continue.
But my point, going back to what we were saying before, is, wake up, Americans. You have to understand this is by design. They're making you stupid by design. Why? You're easier to control if you don't understand how your government works. Who cares? Well, it matters because you're getting bitch slapped financially and you're losing out on the American dream. Now you got a young generation who can't handle credit cards. Why does it matter? Because you're getting bitch slapped with financials, and you'll never realize the American dream because you don't understand how money works.
Have you ever seen the percentage of people that can't find America on the globe? Like how many Americans can't find? It's a scary percentage. It's like,
right, and it's almost not laughable because that's the. And sadly, I'm going to tie it to that nut job who blew up the Cybertruck. Okay.
Oh, we're just going everywhere tonight. The article was.
But it's when I read his situation, separate from the nut job in Louisiana, when I read the situation, it is angering in the sense that now they're calling it, his message was, this is a wake-up call, okay? He was, other people who served with him said he was a patriot. They didn't understand. Now, he had a lot of issues. They think he had PTSD. I'm not making excuses for what he did. I believe he injured people. I don't really know. So much crap was, terrorist stuff was happening. But some of the things he was saying, about DEI is cancer, blah, 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 blah. All these things going on as citizens, it's sad when crazies start to realize this, and this is how some of the crazies react. It's eroding our society. And they always, education's important. God bless Benjamin Franklin, who said we need a public school education. Our citizens need to be educated,
Right.
or we're never going to advance as a nation. He was absolutely right, okay? And there's certain things that they need to know. And you and I discussed this. I don't care if you become a ballet dancer, an NFL football quarterback, or somebody who works in a coal mine. You need to know how credit cards work if you're going to use them. You need to know about a mortgage. You need to know how your country works so you can be a citizen that gets something out of it, right? If not, you're literally going to be just, as they say on the conservative radio, serfs.
Yeah.
People are becoming serfs, walking away from debt. They don't care. Dump it on the next person. So now the people who do pay their credit cards, they have to pay for it. People don't understand how their government works. So they're electing people who, as we've seen, has dementia and is running our country.
Allegedly.
Okay? No, people, even his own people are saying it. That
Who's running it?
mental decline.
Yeah,
okay?
The question is who's running it now if he's not doing it. He's on vacation, right? He's still on vacation. But my question is...
that very question, Chris, goes to the heart of, if you don't understand how your government works, the government is going to morph into something that doesn't even reflect our Constitution.
Right.
And then you wind up getting people like this, how do you pronounce it? Livers Ledger, whatever his name is, the nut job who blew up the Cybertruck, who is basically saying that. We wake up, America. We're going into the shit can. And, credit card debt, freaking morons who don't even know the basics of our education. Shame on our educational system that's allowing this. And as citizens, if we want to keep the dream alive, we better wake up to how these kids... COVID was good for that. People finally saw the crap that kids are learning in school.
Yeah.
It's not the level it needs to be if we're going to be a productive society.
I'm going to put my conspiracy hat on real fast. Did you see that that bomber, the Cybertruck bomber, and the ISIS guy in Louisiana both went to Fort Bragg, and they were in the same graduating class?
Well, and there was also similarly, they both rented the truck from the same company, but as of right now, they're saying that they don't see any direct link.
Here's the problem with that, though. The problem with that is, did you see the mayor of Louisiana or New Orleans was like, it's not a terrorist attack, and then an hour later she said it is a terrorist attack, and then an hour later she goes, it's not a terrorist attack, and then they got rid of the ISIS flag. They refused to show the ISIS flag.
Is this the sheriff or the elderly woman?
I believe
wasn't
so.
The mayor,
someone like that. But it's strange.
I don't.
They got rid of the ISIS flag, so you can't find it anymore that the guy had. They said it was a terrorist attack, then they said it wasn't a terrorist attack, and then the Cybertruck explosion happened, and then it's oh, there's no connection. Now it's who do we believe? But that's just my conspiracy hat.
Yeah, I haven't deep dived into New Orleans, but I did see some headlines about the woman who was the head of police force, the chief, police, whatever. They're really calling to question her competence. Some of the things she said, and apparently they knew this ahead of time, or they knew something was happening.
Yeah, I saw some reports of that.
Game. So I don't know all the details about it. I've just seen more about this. I find the Cybertruck one more, I don't want to say intriguing because that gives it too much credit. I say a terrorist act either way. You blow up a car on purpose on a street,
right? That's
terrorism.
But what's
Maybe
weird
it's not
is
ISIS, but it's terrorism.
Yeah,
so
what's weird is the New Orleans one was a guy who was obviously he terroristic acts and all that. The other guy did it because he felt that America was getting too weak. So
the other way around. He was a Cybertruck one. The one in New Orleans was just a van that he blew up.
Right, but that was the guy with the ISIS flag.
No, The one in Las Vegas outside of Trump was a Cybertruck.
Yeah.
He was the Green Beret with PTSD, Levisberger. The
Yeah.
one who was Jabbar, Al-Jabbar, whatever
Yeah.
his name was. That
You
was
gotta move
New
back from your
Orleans.
mic a little bit.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
That was New Orleans, and that was a van, I
Yeah,
believe.
but that guy had the
And,
ISIS flag in the back of his truck.
yes,
Yeah,
he
yeah,
did.
yeah. That's what I
Yes.
said. Yeah. So again, maybe I said it wrong, but yeah. So, but what's weird is that guy, the ISIS guy in New Orleans.
Yeah.
So wait, tell me if I'm wrong. He was the one that said what?
Oh, I think was a pure
Yeah,
terrorist.
just
in the
right.
sense
The
that
other guy,
he
the
wanted to
Cybertruck
cause
guy,
chaos.
the Cybertruck guy was the guy that said America's weak, it has weak leadership, and that's why he did it to prove. Also,
Right.
so there's a, damn it, I always,
No, that's terrorizing. I'm not
yeah,
going to mitigate.
right,
Oh, one's worse than the
right.
other.
I'm saying one
It's a
is a terroristic group, where the other one's a terrorist act, or one's in relation to a group, I should say.
Well, let's say it's a different right. The
They're
terrorism,
both terrible, no question
right.
about it.
They're
Yeah,
both terrorist acts, in my opinion. You blow up a truck. Hey, you know what? You light a woman on fire on the subway. That's a terrorist act, in my
yeah,
opinion. That's not just a crime. That goes beyond just knifing somebody to. Well, even that knifing somebody, you're causing terror. And now you got a city on lockdown because now they're lighting other people on fire in New York City. What the hell is going on, right?
right.
So terrorism begets more terrorist acts if you don't nip it in the bud. So the I forget which one was Louisiana where they're like, oh, don't judge, and try and dance around the whole
Yeah,
terrorism thing. It is what it is, and most Americans aren't stupid. They're waking up to the fact that something's going on here, and unfortunately, the crazy in Las Vegas is a different kind of crazy. He has PTSD, and I use that term, crazy, not being insulting, I know, to people with PTSD. He was somebody who took his disease and did something bad with it to try and make a point. And I'm making the connection only in that I don't agree with what he did, obviously, but I can feel that sense of frustration that people are having in this country, where we're watching ourselves, our country's becoming like a train wreck. We're watching and we see all these things: the debt, the student loans business. They can't even pass basic things from our education.
Speaking of student loan forgiveness, did you see like this week they just were like, yeah, we're going to wipe that one under the table. They decided not to do it. So the student debt forgiveness is completely gone. Remember, like how many people banked on that happening? They were like, oh, it's coming. I kind of feel bad, but also at the same time, I was like, did you really think that was going to happen? There's no way that they're just going to wipe student loans. We knew that was
and it was never going to pass through the Supreme Court if it got that high, unless he did some executive order, which I think he tried to do that. But yeah, I mean, now he's at the last gasp of this administration. He's just going to send out more pardons for all these crooked people. But yeah, it was a total come on to get people to vote for him, for Kamala, whatever. And maybe a few people did believe it was going to happen, but I don't know. It wouldn't surprise me if it happened. But as a side issue, and then we're going off on tangents here, but we've learned so much more this week about H-1B visas and H-2 visas. People never knew this before. Wake up call.
Yeah.
Now everybody understands why you're not getting a job when you graduated in 2020 or 2024 from these great universities, because you're competing against foreigners who are coming in at half the price.
I like how my mom has to constantly like move towards her mic. It's like,
I
like
know.
it's like a habit that you have to.
It's actually, I'm leaning into you, like
like you're talking to me, yeah. But you're blowing out everyone's ears, and I can't edit that.
Oh, sorry.
No, you're good.
I'll back off.
Yeah.
But so back to what I was saying. Now we're seeing another aspect too. It's a train wreck here. Things that people never knew about. How these visas. So you were saying about student loans, okay? These people go to the universities, they get out, they get a visa, they take the jobs that supposedly no American is capable of doing. So we have to have these foreigners come in.
Right.
It's a joke, an absolute joke. We have been paying for our own demise through grants and student loans and everything else to these universities. That they pay for these students to come in from other countries. You and I do, right? Grants to these universities. They educate them so they come in and take our jobs.
Yeah.
It's funny, Batya Sangor, she's a young person, a little bit older than you are, but she's a Democrat. She's been supporting blue-collar workers, blah, blah, blah. She's written some really good books, and she's very articulate. She came out recently. She says, talking about this visa situation, And as you recall, how many years ago where they said, you know what? Automation's going to come in and take over all the manufacturing jobs that they sent overseas, right?
Right.
So all the blue collar people, young people who never were going to go to college, their parents didn't go to college, but they could get a good job, a living wage, raise a family. All those jobs went away. So what was the answer? Learn to code. You remember that
Yeah.
expression? Learn to code.
Well, you
Well,
can't say
now
that
we're
on YouTube anymore. I think they allow
uh,
it now, but
well, the funny part is, and she brought up this point. They told you to learn to code, and now you're finding out they gave all the coding jobs to people in India and Asia and brought them in. So when they told you to go learn to code, you went and you did that, and now they're saying, "Oh, we don't have a
we
job
don't
for
have
you
a
to code."
job. Yeah, that's funny. What are the odds? The irony. The irony. Yeah.
It's downright sickening. That goes to what we're saying. How do you destroy a country? You chisel away at the people,
At the working class, yeah.
right? You start with education. You let people ring up a lot of debt because inflation and everything else. Don't explain to them how to get out of it. Let them walk away, which just dumps more debt on the hardworking people who do have jobs, right? Then you take their jobs away by shipping jobs overseas. And then you wonder why somebody blows up a Cybertruck. Somebody who was
Yeah.
considered a patriot with PTSD who sees all this. And as a serviceman, you or woman, you put your life on the line for this country, and you come back and you're looking at morons who can't even pass a basic, citizenship test coming out of high school. And everyone's up in arms because Elon Musk, I think he retweeted that American workers are retarded. Somebody had written, he retweeted that, right?
Well, when the Cybertruck explosion happened, people gave him a lot of shit, like, "Oh, these cars suck. Like, he's not a good. He's not Tesla's a joke and all this." And it's
They
like,
thought it was the battery, right?
yeah, they thought it was the battery. Even I thought it was the battery. I didn't realize until like 2 days later that it was a bomb, which
Yeah.
made way more sense, obviously. But still, like, it's funny how people jump to the conclusions because they just want to see Elon fall, but also because he's a Republican, I guess. Well, he is obviously because he's working with Trump, but the fact that is what's kind of changed it. My favorite is the people that say Elon Musk is an idiot. Like, you know how stupid you have to be to say that?
Yeah.
The guy that's put rockets into the air. What I'm trying to say is, like, the level of stupidity that we've dropped to as a society to fit narratives is insane.
Yeah.
And that's going to be our downfall.
Well, I don't think the man's an idiot, but there is some, when they've been diving into these H-1B visas and they're looking at these companies. Tesla is one of them. They fired a lot of American workers and replaced it with foreigners. Why? It's cheaper. They get foreign workers for less money. So he stands there and he talks about how great this program is. Sure, it's enriched a lot of CEOs and a lot of companies because they got rid of the American worker that cost too much money. And they have the nerve. I've experienced myself this 30-some-odd years, 20-some-odd years ago. They have the nerve to have you train these people before they fire you.
Yeah, which is insane.
Right. So Musk knows this. The H-1B, which is different than the two, but the visa program, the way it was set up, has been totally abused by these companies. Because it's only supposed to be those rare individuals from another country where you cannot possibly get that level of expertise, like an Einstein, right? Or a Oppenheimer.
But then I would ask,
We
Mom,
ain't getting that from India. We ain't getting that from China.
but how do you know that?
Workers.
Yeah, but my question is, and maybe that's true, but also, how many of them are just good at their jobs?
No. And that's another thing they're discovering, Chris, because you have to think about it. When these individuals come over with the H-1B visa and they get a job, that employer owns you. Because guess what? If you don't show up late and work, if you don't give me 100%, I'm not going to support your green card. And you can't bring your wife, you can't bring your children, and you will not bring anybody over. You're damn right I'm going to work 20-hour days.
Yeah.
That person is supporting an entire family to bring them over. That's why you're seeing now people saying chain migration. Nobody knew this about the H-1B visas. They're not harder workers than Americans. They literally have a gun to their head. That's the only way they're getting in this country. So they got the golden ticket if they got out of college and now they're part of that program.
It's more like a silver ticket, right? Because gold ticket would mean everything's great. Silver ticket's like, oh, there's a gun to my head, but at least I got the job.
But Chris, when you're coming from a country like India, which is not as progressive or clean or healthy or less populated than the U.S., it's a golden ticket.
Yeah.
even if you're working 20 hours a day. You are the golden child. And to some extent, my in-law, my family experienced that too with the immigration, coming from countries like Germany that had huge inflation. They came to America, but nothing was handed to them. They had to work, find a job, and send that money home. This was the golden opportunity. And they were given nothing by the federal government. We're giving it to them. Like these employers are saying, you know what? Get rid of the Americans. Let's just bring them in droves. And it's enormous, the number of people between the colleges and these employers. And you could literally, I think I sent it to you. You could see, like within months, they fired all the Americans and they brought in foreigners to replace them. Nobody, not advanced degrees, nobody with, now you got bodies in there that they're going to work their tails off, right?
Yeah.
But there are stories, and this is the other side of it, of American workers, especially young people, who get these jobs and they don't want to work. They don't want to go to the office. They don't want to put in the hours. So naturally it looks like, oh, I'm going to put, somebody from another country who appreciates it. But young people, and maybe it's not a good thing, they don't have that gun to their head. Their family isn't going to get deported or never come to this country if they don't work 20 hours a day. We have such an odd dichotomy going on in this country. It's a recipe for it's not a good recipe for progression as a nation. And it starts with things like, what are people learning? How are they being educated? What are the expectations when they come out of school? And what is our government doing to help people get jobs? Are they doing it here? Or are they just bringing in cheap labor from other places?
Yeah. Huh. That was a lot to take in. That didn't feel like it, but that was literally, we just did an hour 20.
Oh, wow.
I saw some articles lined up, but I don't want to make this one too long.
Okay.
So.
Oh, we hit on a lot of things from this week.
This was like a big, we picked all hot topics, but we were kind of everywhere tonight. Next week, we're going to have to get back on the grind of keeping everything sectioned.
But I feel like I brought it all together.
Yeah.
I brought it all together.
You brought together, when you have 4 tornadoes and they come together to make one big tornado? That's kind of what that was.
I'm like Storm from Marvel.
From X-Men, yeah.
X-Men Storm. I take the tornadoes and I bring it all together and make it more powerful.
Yeah, I mean, unfortunately, I feel like in a couple of years we're not even gonna have to worry about this because there's gonna be so many AI robots taking over most of these jobs anyway.
Oh my gosh!
Right?
Listen, I can't get past next Thursday when Penn State has to beat Notre Dame.
I know. I'm gonna have to watch that game, won't I?
Yeah.
I'm sure everyone in the Discord will be. We're gonna be doing a lot more like sports watching stuff we're gonna be streaming a lot more of that stuff, just because I know everyone's interested in that.
Well, one step at a time. Our friends are big Notre Dame fans, and my friend wanted to go. Oh, if they make it into the Orange Bowl,
are you talking about Mrs. Greta? Are you talking Mrs. Greta? Yeah.
They love Notre Dame. She already said to me, "Oh, you want to go down to
Miami?
The Orange Bowl in Miami?"
Yeah, Uncle Jerry made it seem like Mrs. Greta was coming. You guys were stopping here first and then heading down to Miami. I was like, the Gretas are going to be here? No. I was like, that would be sick because we could do a big podcast together. You, me, and Mrs. Greta.
I couldn't do it because it's on a Thursday. I can't go on a Thursday.
That's right. That's right.
I already told her, like, no can do. Can't make it to the Norwood. I don't think Kenny Mike would want me there.
Yeah, it would be they're going to be a rowdy bunch that day. If they win. Know. Yeah, Kenny, you got to grow up a little bit.
Well, I think they're favored to win. He's already thinking about California.
Yeah.
He's already making plans to go to the championship game. Which
this isn't the championship.
No, the championship.
This goes to show
that's the big kahuna because odds are that's going to be Penn State versus Ohio State.
Oh, yeah.
Imagine that.
Well, I watched Oregon get wrecked by I think it was Ohio State.
Ohio State.
I was like, Uncle Bob's got to be pissed.
Interestingly enough, we thought that would be the best game out of the whole series, even more so than championship.
It wasn't even close.
But it was not really close. And no, Ohio State is a very strong team. I don't know. Penn State came close to beating them. They had some interesting calls when I watched that game that was one of the 2 losses.
Said like Oregon, a true Ohio. Penn State mom. The calls were terrible.
Yeah. No, not the calls. I said that wrong. The coach. I think some of Franklin's, but having said that, it was a close enough game that it might be interesting in the championship. I just don't know, one step at a time. But the Notre Dame one that cracked me up. Let's go to Miami for the Orange Bowl.
I've been doing the podcast questions for our
Yeah.
podcast, and I've been able to put them in the Discord server instead of just on Spotify. And the last one, because Kenny and Mike were on it, was, do you think that the NIL will ruin college sports? Like 3 people messaged me and commented, none of us watch sports. I was like, yeah, I guess. I was they don't care. But
Different group.
yeah, different
Different
crew.
group.
So yeah, that's really all the news we had. I mean, it's a good podcast, as I said. So next week we will probably, I'm gonna see if Jen wants to do the podcast next week with both you and me. I don't know if your episode ever came out. I'm gonna have to check that. I got a message her be like, hey, did you ever edit the podcast with my mom?
The only thing, I have to get down to Miami, so I don't know if we'll have to see how the week shakes out.
Oh, okay. Hold on 1 second. I just wanted to see. I don't know if Jen ever. I'm gonna give her a piece of my mind if you're not on there. Let me see.
I told you I'm boring. I don't think I fit her podcast. I wouldn't blame her. She's got other people because, she's judges and people that are doing things in the community.
Yeah.
Listen to me ramble on about my wonderful son.
Yeah, I'm gonna. Yeah, yeah. If that's what you did, then you might not be on.
I didn't just, but
she hasn't put too many videos out, so she's probably just finishing up. Yeah, she's probably just finishing up other stuff, but that's besides the point. Well, I'll message her and ask, but
yeah, I'm gonna spend this week as early as possible setting up stuff, travel plans and stuff like for the end of the month, and I also have to get up to Grandma's place and check that out, make sure nothing's burst, no pipes or anything, nothing's frozen. So yeah, and that just might be an overnight, but I also have to watch weather too, right? Because now I'm in the winter up here.
Yeah, now it's getting ugly.
Yeah, and I had a lot to do in this month to get it. I don't know if February's going to be any better,
Yeah.
And also, if Grandma comes back to me, I can't go anywhere.
Right,
so I got to factor that into it too. So I'm trying to get a lot done this month. But yeah, I'll sit down and figure it out over the next couple days and maybe book some things. I definitely want to get down your way, even for Aunt Susan, to help her out at the end of the month.
Well, it seems like she's going to start shipping her over to me a little bit more. Shipping Grandma over to me with Jordan, so Jordan and I can hang out with her. But see, I was going to take her shopping, but I don't have much shopping to do, so.
Well, it's good to do it even if it's just for an hour or something, because Grandma was getting a little too, I don't want to leave the house.
Uncle Jerry told me that she would get into the chair that spins, and she was so bored she would just spin. She would just spin in a circle. She was so bored.
But yet she would be upset if Susan left her. So it was kind of good, as much as Susan says, I don't think she'll be comfortable leaving me to go to our house here.
Right.
Part of me is like, well, maybe it's a good thing if we force it a little bit so she doesn't get too like, I can't leave my space. I can't go because, she may have to go at some point. She may have to come to my place. So I don't want her to get upset or agitated, but it's good that she gets her out to go to your place just to change the scenery a little bit. Yeah. Probably good for her and Jerry.
As I said, Jordan and I were keeping her company. So, all right. Yeah. Either way, we'll end the podcast there just because I think we did more than enough this week. So we'll shoot for next week. We'll play it by ear. Worst comes to worst, I'll do it with Matt Sprague, which is never a good idea because he, Matt Sprague's going on about, that Luigi Maggioni kid, the CEO guy. Yeah. I'm going to say it. I don't know if he did it. I'm kind of at that point. When you look at the evidence and you go through like a lot of like the motives and stuff, I don't know. Now I'm starting to question it a little bit. But then again, every time.
You don't think he was the killer? I mean, somebody shot the man.
Yeah. I think he was more of a fall guy because when you look at the tracking patterns of how he went from New York to the change in things that police said, like they said back in New York they found the backpack that was left. Then another group said he had a backpack when he was at the McDonald's that they found him in Pennsylvania. So stories aren't lining up. Now, are those honest mistakes? Maybe, but Matt showed me a video and I was like, okay, I might have to reconsider this one. But then the question is, why would he be the fall guy? What's the point? Now, if you look at the family history, the grandmother came into like $36 million and was going to give it to all the grandkids. They're thinking that the parents might have framed him because they wanted the money.
Oh my!
I'm sorry. I'm just throwing my conspiracy hat on. I'm not saying I believe it, but I was like, oh, that is a little fishy. But I don't know.
The whole scenario, the whole situation. I'm not saying it doesn't. Nothing's adding up.
Yeah.
There's no direct motive. There's no direct anything. People are trying to make something out of it,
Yeah.
and maybe forcing it a little bit to come up with a motive, like going with
Yeah.
the Oxums. This
Well,
will
he
make
definitely
sense.
had
But
he definitely had like a weird Facebook post and said he was good. Like to go after a CEO that he has really no ties to is weird.
right,
Also, someone brought up a good point. This guy knew how to actively fix a jammed gun, which I never even thought about that. I don't know if you ever saw the video of him actually killing the CEO. This guy managed to clear a pistol. This kid doesn't have any military training. There's a lot.
maybe
There's a lot to it.
online, maybe he
Also,
learned it. I don't know.
where are you going to get shell casings that are engraved? Right? Why would you engrave shell casings?
Well, does he have money? I mean, you said they have money.
He
Maybe
does,
he's
but
able to get
where
them.
would you go to do that? Right? And plus,
Well, I
if
don't know.
he
Maybe.
would have had to do it himself
Yeah.
because everyone's gonna see that and go, why would you? There's a
Yeah.
lot to it. You have to look at it. I was like, geez, this is actually kind of weird, but that's a topic for another day. So
Yeah.
we'll end it there. The only things I have to promote. So obviously the podcast from last week, I posted a Twitch clips video for September, October, November, and December, all on Wednesday because that's literally how long it's been since we got a lot of our clips together. Because
Right.
the last few months have just been a shit show. And then
Yep.
today I posted the Ark Survival video for the Games Pass Roulette. And then this comes out on Monday, and that's pretty much it. So as I said, we updated the Discord server for those of you that want to join that. It's a lot more fun now. There's a lot more things to do. So go join that. Social media, promo code Streamlinks Discord down below. And hopefully we'll see you sometime next week, and I'll see you at stream. So.